Welcome to another episode of Mindful Cities Tuning into Life. I'm your host, Helen Blocker, and today we have as our special guest DJ Taz Rashid. Welcome.
Hi, Helen. It's great to be in connection here. I've only seen you at the live event, so this is great to be in touch digitally.
Yes, and I had to. I joined, last year when you did the Supersonic Yoga Tour, I didn't get a chance to join, and I kept kind of stalking your Instagram, making sure I didn't miss the, the next one. And, and so I got to join you in Sarasota, you and MC Yogi, and it was just an incredible experience. I got more than I bargained for. And I really felt that there's so much more of a science to the events that you put together. And I really wanted to dive into that a little bit with you because one of the things that touched me at the event is the music selection. You know, there's many yoga events these days that have music, but some do not align with what's happening at the moment. And I found that your music was just so on point and such an addition to getting you into the space, the point of the yoga and your connection with MC Yogi, the two of you flowing so harmoniously. And I know this doesn't come easy. So I wanted to chat with you a little bit about music, yoga, wellness, and how did you get to the place where you are, where you can find that connection so easily?
Yeah, that's first of all, thank you for having me. This is awesome, and what a way to start off the conversation. I love this. Thank you for asking that. So, the question is, how did all this come to be with the
Mhm.
music and the yoga? I, everything is energy. We hear that, and if you believe it, it true, like I truly believe it is. And music is everything about music is energy, it's frequency, it's math. So much is happening in so many different energetic levels that it affects us um, as human beings such a deep way. So what that
Mhm.
means is that your selection of music is extremely important. A lot of people just select whatever and it's just playing. Um, you can do that, but you're going to have a more impactful experience if you understand music and know what the energetics are happening in the moment of not just the music, but also the actual practice. What is happening with the breath? What is the cadence and rhythm of the tempo of the breath? How fast are people moving? What are the movements like? Everything is connected or can be connected. So
Mhm.
a lot of times everything is not connected because it's a little disjointed. And you as a person in the class, a yogi in the class practicing may feel that. The teacher may feel that. The DJ, I feel that at times if I'm not connected with the teacher or
Mhm.
what's happening. But I've been doing this, I think, since like 2012, 13. So it's been over like 12 years, 13 years since I've been kind of like mastering my craft, my
Mhm.
skill and art of playing music and wellness experiences and producing music. So there's like understanding it is very important. That's what I do with a lot of my trainings of, what is BPM, beats per minute. Everything has tempo,
Mhm.
even if it's an ambient drone, just like holding like an ambient, there is like a pulse, the whole
Mhm.
world rhythm. Everything has a certain level of, I mean, like a metronome, like
Mhm.
certain
Yes.
pulse. That is very important to understand because the more you understand that, that is your breath, that is your music, it can be the most amazing experience. So my
Mhm.
job is to keep these things in mind
Yes.
as I'm holding the experience as like, the music orchestrator in the moment of selecting, because nothing's ever planned. Like
Mhm.
when we do these classes, like nothing is planned as far as music selection or anything like that. It's really in the moment.
And being in
Um,
tune
I
with
mean, you
the
can plan it, but
students. Mhm.
yes, for me, it's like seeing what's happening in the room. Is it
Mhm.
daytime? Is it nighttime? Are they tired? Are they energetic? Like what age crowd is it? Like I look at all these things um in the moment. So
And it
it's a
can
good
really
time.
elevate the experience.
Mhm.
I have to say, we've all had yoga experiences that really have taken another level. It's why we keep doing yoga, right? We keep growing in yoga. But having that experience, especially when you're adding the level of the headphones where, the sound is directly in your ear, and the fact that it flows so harmoniously, it really feels like the yoga is easier. It's easier for you to drop into that space. So the music selection can really add to that. And in other places, sometimes it can take away because you can get distracted. What are some of the things you've seen, just from your own experience of what you've seen others do with music, some do's and don'ts in the yoga
Sure.
world?
Well, you brought up the silent disco headphones, so I can
Hmm.
chat a little bit about that first. So I've been using the silent disco headphones. So I use a brand called Sound Off Experience. I've been working with them. They're a New York-based company since
Mm,
2000, I believe, 18, and I own about 250 of these headphones. And I see such a difference in the yogis' experience and just
mhm.
energetically in the class when I use them versus when I don't. It
Hmm.
becomes a more personable experience, like you
Yes.
said, because the
Hmm.
teacher's voice is in the headphones and the music. It's like perfectly mixed. I'm making sure everything is mixed like perfectly well. So it keeps the practitioner not only in this like very intimate individual practice, but they have this group energy as well. But
Hmm.
it makes this like symbiotic experience between the teacher, the music, and the practitioner. There's no like they're actually people say that they're less distracted while they use
Right.
the headphones because they're like kind of in this like journey. So
Hmm.
I absolutely love that. And I use them as much as I can. And I encourage people, hey, like I'll bring the headphones. I bring them with me to festivals as well. And it
Yes.
just takes things to another level. So that's a great thing. And we use them at all our supersonic yoga events. People absolutely love them. It's not like young kids are doing it or versus whatever. Everyone, most people, I would say 99% of people enjoy it because they
Hmm.
fit nicely on your head and they're just very comfortable. You can do handstands on them. They won't fall off. They're absolutely great. So absolutely love the silent disco headphones. Also, like for meditation, I can use binaural beats because it's headphones. I can do certain
Mm,
things that I
those
couldn't
different.
really do with a regular sound system. So the headphones are really cool. Okay, so you spoke a little bit about like asking about like some
Some
do's and
do's and
don'ts.
don'ts. Like, what have you
You know,
seen?
yeah, I mean, like this is going to be this. Some of this may be perspective, and these are
Hmm.
my perspectives of what I see working and don't working, not working. I think you have to be careful when you're using lyrics and
All
how much
right.
lyrics you're using because you don't want lyrics to compete with the teacher's voice. Okay, that's a big
Mm-hmm.
thing. So if you're speaking in the same energetics or cadence as the teacher, they're gonna like butt heads, like where it's just almost a distraction. So that's
Right.
something you want to pay attention to is like how much lyrics you're using, where the lyrics are. Now, there may be a point in class where the students are, like flowing freely, where you may not be guiding as much as a teacher. That's a great time for lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
Later in the class, when there's long holds, when you may not be guiding as much. If you're a teacher that's talking a lot and giving a lot of instruction, very pay a lot of attention to how much lyrics you're using
Hmm.
because it can just be a lot of distraction busyness.
Yes,
If it's
exactly.
not as
Hmm.
it seem like it's all good, sure, it may be all good, but it can also be very busy. It could be a greater experience when it's paid attention to. So that's something.
Hmm.
Also, just like the tempo of the music, that's very important. Like it's not really a do's or don'ts. It's more like pay attention to
Hmm.
how fast the song is versus what the movement is. So if you can
Hmm.
connect the breath and the beat of the music or like some sort of energetics of it, that's going to give you a deeper experience for the
Hmm.
practitioner. It's going to just naturally feel more organic as well when it comes to the flow. It'll just feel more natural. And I think that's why like when I'm DJing and doing music for a lot of these classes, like people just feel they're like, wow, that was easy, or like that felt so natural and free, and
Hmm.
like it
Yeah.
wasn't a distraction. It just felt like the way I think of it is like I think of myself as like a Hans Zimmer or something like that that's scoring the music of the yoga soundtrack live.
Hmm.
It's like I'm creating the score, in the moment.
Yes.
And if teachers think of themselves like that, because that's what they're doing when you create a playlist, you're making the score of your class. So you
Yes.
have to understand and treat it that way. It's not just a whatever in the background. I say that the music almost becomes like a teacher,
It's a
like
big
a
part of
second
it.
teacher,
Hmm.
especially if you're connecting the breath and the movement. Over time, the students actually they will be trained to follow the beat of the music.
Hmm.
These are things
Hmm.
that I go more deeper into my trainings when I do them at festivals. It's called My Best Playlist. It's like a training I
Yes.
do for teachers. And I like to get kind of nerdy about this stuff, but teachers really love it. We're trying to get better at using their music. And teachers who don't use music, no problem at all. That's all great. I'm just trying to help folks who are using music take it to the
Yes.
next level.
To kind and you kind of taken the math out of this for some of it because you've obtained all of this over years of experience,
Mhm.
just your musical background and then also your yoga background and, putting those together. And I love how you have created this playlist that you make available. You have an entire availability available on your site or through your social media. How did you put this together? I'm sure it's because you got a million requests,
Yeah.
but
You
you've taken the
know,
math out of it for us, and I love that.
so you're speaking about the 108 playlist PDF that I
Yes.
have available. So the cool thing about this product is that I put this together around, I think 2019, 2020. And what was happening was that I was creating so many playlists and different kinds of playlists from Vinyasa flow, deep, deep house, deep chill, Shavasana, meditation, then all these like themes, sequence type play. I was like,
Mhm.
wow, I have like hundreds of playlists and a lot of them had lots of follows. I was like, and a lot of them were like private playlists too. So I
Mhm.
was like, why don't I just put everything together in one document on both Apple and Spotify? So a lot of people use those two
Amazing.
platforms. So this document has 100, it's a PDF document to explain. So when people purchase it or they get access to it, it's a PDF document which you can just simply move onto your phone or computer, and
Mhm.
you can literally click on. There's like a button under each image of the cover of the playlist, and you just click on Spotify or Apple, and it'll just open up in your own player, and then you can just save it.
That's
So
amazing.
you literally have access to 108 playlists at any point in your phone, and then you can save them and organize them. And then I'm gonna have a new one coming, with probably sometime this later, like a volume two, because I have so many new playlists
Yes.
that I'll make available, and I'll probably add YouTube on there as
Oh,
well
that's great.
because YouTube
Yeah.
is free. Of course, like if you're not paying for it, you might get an ad. So just, if
Yeah, in
you
between
have
your
to be
classes.
careful of that, but it is accessible. It does make it accessible to anyone if you don't have Apple Music or Spotify. So the volume two will come out at some point, but the volume one is available and I've got some discounts out there and stuff like that. But
Oh,
like you
wonderful.
said, it makes it easy. It's just like press
Hmm.
play and go, and then you can save it and you can duplicate the playlist and change it if you want. It's up to
Yes.
you. You can do whatever you want with it.
Well, some of the things we run into is royalty music and what
Mm.
can and we cannot do. What are some of your thoughts on that, and what do you have available for
Yeah, so
users?
using royalty-free music is a great thing, but a lot of times it's difficult to find good
Hmm.
royalty-free music for wellness practices and what you're looking for. Especially if you're actually a content creator or creating like videos online, if you have an app or whatever you're creating, you have to use stuff that you have access to legally and with a license. So
Hmm.
there's different platforms out there, but a lot of them are geared towards ads and just like other professional things like documentaries or whatever. I've not really seen like a wellness type thing that you
Hmm.
create that you actually get the file. So I created this thing back in 2020, when the world was like all going online. I was like, how can I help the wellness community? So I created this royalty-free music library, extremely affordable. Like right now, it's only like I think under $200 a year, but you get access to over 1,000 songs, and you can monetize your product with this music. So that's
Hmm.
big, big difference.
Right, because otherwise you get copyright
Yeah, you actually
things
get
on there.
the license, the sync license and the master license to like use it in your products. So whether
Mm.
it be like an online course or like an if it's your app or you're creating a guided meditation, breath work, whatever it is, yoga video, it's great for YouTube people because you won't
Mhm.
get flagged or anything. So you can create like YouTube videos. I have lots of clients who use the music for their YouTube yoga channels, and it's
Right.
amazing. And it just you get that high quality music for your practice
Hmm.
legally, and you're supporting me and some of the other artists I work with, and so yeah, so that's important to understand. And
Mm.
for live playing, it's you can look deeper into it. For live music, like live classes, technically and legally, any yoga studio or any place of business, they have to have what is called a PRO license.
Mhm.
And you can look this up. I don't want to go too deep into it,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
any place of business needs to have a license from the performance rights organizations to play music on different, devices. Like, so you're playing
Mm,
a Beatles song or a Beyonce track or whatever music
right,
out there. You have it's a performance rights organization, so it's a live, when you're playing a song live, it's that license. It's not to
right.
use for recorded.
Mm.
It's a live performance
So
rights.
like at events and, things of that
Hmm.
nature.
Yeah.
There's so much that goes into it. And so on the royalty free music, do you have that also on your website or on
Yes.
your link? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's something. Hmm.
I give a sync license and a live, to use it. So like somebody that had it, if there's someone that had, they can use the music in their live classes or in their recorded classes. That's a double license that they're getting.
That's really incredible that you're doing that because I think of anyone that's starting to teach, starting to facilitate and doing events, it's really overwhelming to know what you can. And it's so many things that you have to navigate when you're still learning to teach, you're still, a little unsure. And now you have to think of the music, you have to think of this, you have to think of that. So it's really incredible that you're putting this together. And in a way, we can also support artists because that's a hard area where,
Mhm.
that can often get unsupported because people are just listening and never really sharing where it's coming from or giving support in those places. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
And this brings me right to the live event, Supersonic Yoga. How did this come come into fruition? Because of course I love it, but tell the listeners, what is this about? How did the two of you get together?
Yeah.
And what is your vision moving
Yeah.
forward?
So MC Yogi and I, we've known each other for many years. We used to tour together at Wanderlust events. We hadn't really worked together a lot, but we were touring together at different festivals. And then just last year, we started getting paired up, and he requested me to play music in his classes, and I was like really excited about that. I've known his music for a long time, and so we played together at a few festivals, and we realized like we're a great team. Like we're actually a really good collaboration, and it was just really easy to work with each other. We're not only friends, but we also just get along like, as like what's the best way to say it? We're not only good music collaborators, but we're actually like becoming good friends. So that's a
Mhm.
big part behind the scenes energetically, as a level
Right.
of trust that happens when it's like you're a band, but you're like, you don't say you're a band, but in a way you are treating each other like you're in a band when you
Yes.
have like a musician, teacher, and DJ, musical yoga act. It's a really cool kind of a collaboration. So we were at Love Shine Play Festival just having uh, tea and coffee and breakfast before our event, and we were just kind of like, hey, what are we gonna do? This is cool, and then we just started talking, and I started sharing about some of my events and how I have these headphones, and we were just like, let's maybe collaborate and do our own thing. And that's something that is a lot of work,
Hmm.
doing these things on your own. Usually we're just like brought into events, but we wanted to do this ourselves, and so we were like, let's try it. And it's still a lot of work. And, I have a team that's kind of helping manage and organize, and I'm kind of operating as a tour manager, with my team and different assistants that are kind of helping in different ways. But it is a lot of effort that goes into it.
Hmm.
Because we're in charge of, filling the numbers, the marketing, everything that goes into it. So our vision is, and always was, to bring community together, whether it's 100 people or 500 people, but to take it on the road to bigger cities
Hmm.
and really do these amazing like yoga concert style events where it's like
Yes.
a yoga class, but not just yoga class. There's dancing, there's deep meditation, the music changes. It's like a full like 2 hour kind of like experience. And then people have community time. There's vendors, and sponsors. People can hang out, and it can grow that way, So
Hmm.
it's the energy of a festival, in like a one evening. And
Hmm.
then we have the grander vision of doing like workshops before, like in the
Yes.
day, or like maybe the day after in a smaller venue. It's a little bit more intimate. People, we can have Q&A, group discussion. People can ask us questions, whatever. And we started doing that at Sarasota, and it
Yes.
felt really great.
Yes, it did.
So,
It did. I enjoyed the whole day of,
Awesome.
the
Thank you.
progression into the night,
Yeah.
and, in being engaged with the vendors and everyone staying there, getting to talk to each other and really seeing the energy rise up for the evening program. That was really
Oh
nice. So I
yeah.
like the full day completely because you're really immersed, not just, with when you're there with the headphones, but you're really immersed in the event the entire day when you get to spend the time with each other. And then the closeness with you, you had these, both of you really sat with the group and had this Q&A. So just this really, heartfelt conversations. People could ask questions, things that were on their mind, and you shared, very beautifully from your heart, your own experiences. And, something that you shared in Sarasota, which is what brings me to what I wanted to ask you next, is your own wellness journey and where you are going with wellness. Because I know music is an incredible part of that wellness, but I know you're very engaged in your well-being and in wellness and in yoga within the community, and how you are marrying these two. So where is the wellness taking you at this point in your
Yeah,
life?
yeah, absolutely. So, personally for me, like breath work, meditation, like changed my life, like from the beginning, like 2007, 8, that's when I started getting into it. And then around 2009, I started getting into yoga, but it was really always the mindfulness practices of like meditation and breath work that was originally. And now it's kind of a mixture of all that plus just overall like well-being. So just like exercising, working out, keeping a strong body. What I've seen is that the stronger my body is getting, the easier the yoga and meditation and
Mm-hmm.
breath work is becoming as well. Like I'm able to sit for longer periods of time. My body doesn't hurt. Like yoga is like a lot, like because you're stronger, your body's, and I know that like originally the yogis, the reason they would actually do yoga is so that they could sit and they weren't doing yoga to get stronger, but they were doing yoga to strengthen their body to be able to sit for
Sit
long
for
periods of
longer
time.
in
So for
meditation.
what I'm saying now is like I'm doing, like stronger, like more like lifting weights, that to have a stronger body, which is making my yoga easier, which is making my
Making your
meditation
sitting
easier.
meditation
As
easier.
I'm personally getting older as well. I'm in my younger 40s and I have two kids. So it's like body is everything, health is everything. I see my parents and other relatives and things like, when I'm 60, 70, like I pray and, I stay positive that like I'm gonna have a strong body that I
Hmm.
can play with my, kids. Because I have a 6 month, or I'm sorry, 7 or 8 month old right now, David. I forget if I think it's 8 months now. But
Hmm.
he when in 18 years he's just going to be graduating college.
You're
That's
right.
crazy. Like I'll be in my like 60s then, you know what I mean? That's
Yes.
like so it's like it's important to have that. And for me the paying attention to energetics is very important during meditation. Just like it's not like I have to clear my mind. It's more like just being so like calm
Hmm.
that like naturally the thoughts like start falling away
Hmm.
and you just let like for me it's like this like kind of like a light that kind of fills me energetically, and you can feel it in your different like they call them like the Maya koshas, like the different like bliss body and
Yes.
the different subtle bodies. And so paying attention to the subtle bodies, it's very important because um your the energetics of your sense of being and the actual energetic being can be elevated by paying attention to that,
Hmm.
because there's so much stimuli in our lives, whether it's,
Oh
and
my
you can
goodness.
just get
Yes.
it from home, your computer, this little phone that has so much energy that's being blasted all the
Mm.
time. Not only the electromagnetic stuff, but the actual information and the stimuli that's doing to our brains. Um, all that's like doing its thing on our whole energetic subtle body. So those things are very important to start paying attention to, and that's what I've been doing. And this led me to create my wellness app that we were speaking about a little bit,
Yeah.
Soul Groove Wellness. And we launched that last year, and now it's out there.
And so you have a challenge that you're doing with the Soul Groove Wellness. What's that about a little bit?
Yeah, so Soul Groove Wellness, I created this. I launched it last year, but really I'm launching it now, like this year in a bigger way. Like we released it and then we were just tweaking things. It was like a soft launch, and now we're really getting it out there. There's over 200 experiences, And right now there's a 2 month free trial, which is amazing. So you go sign up and you put your information in, but you won't be billed, and then you can stay or you can like leave. We hope you stay. But the Elevate Challenge is a 21-day challenge, breath work, meditation, yoga. You get 2 practices a day. I think around 18 different teachers. So you get to really experience a lot of different teachers. All has music, scored by myself, really high vibe. So it feels like that experience you'll get at, supersonic yoga, kind of this, it's the same style, you know. And there just may not be as much dancing inside of a meditation class, obviously, but like
Right.
it's scored in the exact same way. I follow the same principles and everything when I'm adding music to those classes. So yeah, so there's a lot of different experiences, different styles of yoga, teachers, and that is something that starts March 3rd. So if you're listening to this and it's after that, you can still join for free, experience it. You can start from day one or pick up wherever the day is. And we'll keep the challenge on, or we'll bring it back every,
Hmm.
couple times a year. And the vision with that is to really allow my audience who love my music and the love of practice of wellness, it kind of comes
Come
together.
together.
So
Mhm.
yeah, so yeah, there are a lot of wellness apps out there, but this is very unique as it's very music focused and has a style of like the way I
Mhm.
want that I'm offering it out in the world. And so we have a lot of great partners that are starting to come in. One is called the Holo Movement. They're an organization that's all about creating deeper purpose in the world, and
Mhm.
really beautiful organization. And they're partnered with me as a sponsor and a supporter for
Mhm.
this year. And so I'm working with them to get the word out to the rest of the world, and we're doing
Mhm.
some good stuff there in partnership. And they actually have an event coming up in Asheville, North Carolina, that I'll be presenting a
Okay.
course and
Mhm.
more aspects of this app on there. So it's a lot of good energy that's coming out of this, and it's allowing
Yes.
me to take on a new role, from like the DJ musician that I've built for the last like 10 years. It's
Mhm.
allowing me to go into a more unique and newer, expanded role as a more of an organizer of different teachers and friends and sharing about them with my
Mhm.
community.
Coming to.
Because with the app, I'm able to do that. Like, hey, check out this teacher. She's on my app, or check out this
Mhm.
teacher. His breathwork class is on my app. So that my goal in 10 years is for this app to like, reach millions of people, and so
Amazing.
they can practice it.
And
So
look, we get
it's
to be a
fun.
part of it right at the beginning. And I think that's
Yes.
really amazing. I grew up, well, technically, I grew up living in an ashram actually.
Mm,
So I will talk next time when I see you a little more about
yes.
it. So I was a yogi, a monk for, about 20 years. So
Wow.
one of the things that is so important in having wellness or some kind of spirituality in your life consistently is having a community and having some daily practice, something that you can connect to daily. And a lot of times people are going sporadically here to different yoga studios and here and grabbing here. And there's so much information out there. And information is good, but when we can't really bring it together and create a routine that we can really connect with, it doesn't have the effect that it is we're looking for. So something like what you're creating is giving daily practice, giving a community where they can go to, has the elements that they love, music, sound, spirituality, physical practice. I think it's incredible. And I love being able to be a part of something right at the beginning because then you almost feel like you're a part of that growth. So,
Absolutely.
when you see it, reach out there. I think it's amazing that you're doing that. And we'll definitely be sharing a lot
Yeah.
about the wellness challenge that you're doing and the supersonic yoga that's coming up. And thank you so much for coming on the show.
Helen, thank you so much. It's a pleasure. Thank you. Look
Thank
forward to
you.
coming back. Yep.